Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Bela Lugosi Dracula. This is a figure I wasn't planning on reviewing, but I had a bunch of people asking me to review it, and NECA happened to have it as a review sample, so I was like, heck, I might as well. And it turns out it's a pretty darn good figure. I am not into like the whole Universal Monsters thing or any of that kind of stuff, but this is a pretty cool piece, and I could definitely see why you guys were interested in it. So there's some stuff to talk about, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just shy of 19 centimeters. That's going to make him roughly just shy of 7.5 inches, really. Here he is up against Darwin. Definitely a different scale, not even close. He's about 1.2 Darwins. Got some size on him. All right, I want to do the question of the day, which is, are you guys into this sort of stuff? The general audience, whoever's watching this. I'm guessing if you're watching this, you are at least a little bit. My only connection to all of the Universal Monsters is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. I think that's what it was called. And then the Ninja Turtle figures that came out forever ago when I was a kid. I'm not into horror stuff at all, so that's it. But these are kind of cool, especially, you know, if you did watch the Abbott and Costello movie, that's pretty funny. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetic on this guy. There's one thing that bothers me, and then there's a couple little things that just could be a little bit better. Mostly, it's really good. Let's talk about the portrait. That's nice. It's very, very well done. There's some really nice tonal work going on in the paint job for the face. It looks really good. The sculpt is really good. The hair looks good. The face looks good. The details around the chest, those are all sculpted well. Paint job could be cleaner. That's one of the things that bugs me. The red part, not that clean. The amulet, not that clean. Paint job down here could definitely be a little bit cleaner, but it's okay. The rest of it is mostly just black with a little bit of a dry brush on there, which looks fine. I'll take that. The ring looks pretty good. They did a good job with that. Nothing on that side. So there's not a whole lot to talk about in the body. The shoes are a little bit glossy. That's good. The thing that bothers me most on this guy is he's not going to be posed all that much in dynamic poses anyway. And we'll get to the articulation, but I think they could have done a lot better with the diaper. He has a very big diaper. And I call it a diaper because that's what you call a floating or a soft piece that hides the skeletal workings of the crotch. But for his, it's actually really big, and I think they could have done something to make that look a little bit less noticeable, because he's probably not going to need it to hide any dynamic range or anything like that. So that's a bit of a bummer. Luckily, he does have his cape, which we'll get to in a minute, but it looks pretty good overall. They did paint the buttons and things, by the way. The face, the head looks really good, the hands look good, the rest could be a little bit better, but I think it's definitely going to be good enough. I'm going to give the aesthetic an overall rating of 8. The portrait really sells it. It looks great, and when you put the cape on him, you're not going to notice the other stuff, so I think it looks really good. I'm pleased with it. Let's go ahead and talk about the accessories. We do have his cape, which has a plastic collar. I'm going to just do this manually rather than photos. Has a plastic collar, and the rest is probably spandex. It's a little bit heavy. It stretches. It looks like spandex to me. Spandex is a great material for capes. Any figures that have capes that you want made out of cloth, if you're not going to wire them, spandex. If you're going to put wire in them, spandex is not good because it's very hard to stitch in a fine way. Like a little bead around the end is very difficult to do. But spandex is great for just a loose cape like this. So the collar just fits around his existing collar. It just kind of pressure fits on there, and it works nicely, and the cape looks good. Spandex is easily the best material for a loose cape like this. Like for Jada Toys, if they do one for M. Bison, which I think they might be doing, it would be really nice if they used spandex. And also, you can see it doesn't let a ton of light through. So that's pretty nice. The cape looks wonderful. It feels good in the hand. It doesn't feel cheap. It looks good. You can drape it over his shoulders, or you can go back with it. I love it. I think they absolutely nailed this cape. It's wonderful. So you get that. You get 3 different heads, just slightly different expressions. One's kind of angry, so it's not quite so slight, but you get those. Those are really nicely done. You get some alternate expression hands, and then one hand for holding the candle, which you do get a candle, which is pretty nicely done. I like that. You get a platter with 2 glasses of wine and a bottle. That's pretty cool. And then lastly, you get a display stand with his pet bat. I know you are cringing right now. It's not his pet bat, it's him. Or at least I think it's him. At least it looks like him in the Abbott and Costello movie when he transforms into a bat. But you guys can let me know if I'm crazy and I'm wrong about that. But still, that's a good spread of accessories. For like, he's not going to be doing much but standing there, but they managed to give us some good accessories. So I'm pleased. I'll give the accessories a 9 out of 10. All right, now as far as articulation goes, I'm guessing, I haven't really tested it too much, I'm guessing it's not going to be the most range, but we'll see. So we do have some ball pegs in the neck for the head, and then one for the neck also, but it doesn't do much. But the head's going to be pretty expressive. I like that. Ball pegs give you so much more range without even trying than the hinged ball peg, so that's good. Like that. Shoulder goes out to the side pretty far, almost horizontal. Not the best because they sculpted it narrow here to fit all the way down at his side. I would prefer they do something different for that, like maybe hollow this part out rather than this. But you're probably not going to have his arms straight out too much anyway, so I guess that's probably okay. You do get the full rotation here, but it will flex the top of the coat, so be aware of that. No bicep swivel up there. You get a single jointed elbow that does do a good deal better than 90, so that's not bad. And then you get your bicep swivel out of that, which again should be okay. This guy's not exactly a ninja. Wrist swivel and hinge, that should be fine. Diaphragm articulation, none. I think there is one just at the waist above the diaper. You're gonna definitely be able to rotate it. As far as leaning it back and forward, it doesn't feel like the clothes are gonna let you do too much. So mostly just count on a waist twist. For the hips, they go out to the side pretty far, but man, they really didn't need to have such a big diaper on this guy. That's pretty frustrating. So he can do almost the splits. It is just a standard ball socket. Bringing the leg forward, that oversized diaper really gets in the way. So pretty limited range there. Going back, again, pretty limited. Thigh swivel is in there. Single jointed knee works just like the elbow, just about 90 degrees, and it rotates if you want it. And then for the ankles, I can't tell for sure. It almost feels like a proper ball hinge, but I think it's just a regular hinge. So you get some forward and back play, not a ton. Kind of just enough to adjust him, and then you get an ankle rocker, which is also pretty steep. So, like I guessed, not the best range of motion. It'll definitely be enough. He mostly just stands there and moves his arms, and he can do that. So, yeah, it's not good articulation, but it is for the character just fine. So I'll give it a 6 with the caveat that it's fine for the character. It's not good, but it's fine. Did that make sense? It makes sense. Okay, so let's do a final verdict on this guy. Is it the most dynamic action figure you'll ever own? Absolutely not. Is it a really good rendition of this character with acceptable articulation and cool accessories? Most definitely. And I think if you're into this, if you're interested in buying this, or if you already bought it, or if you're thinking about buying it, you already knew that. You already knew it wasn't going to be the most dynamic thing, but it was going to look really good. That's definitely what NECA leans into for this sort of thing, and they leaned into it pretty darn well on this one. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 8 out of 10. I am taking a point away for the oversized diaper, which will be visible. It might not be super noticeable for most people unless you're looking at it in the context of a review, but it's pretty darn big. So I had to take a point away for that, but it is a darn good release, and I definitely recommend it. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos every day but Wednesday, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.